Hello guys, today I'm going to be doing a video on NFS Unbound with the RTX 4090. We're going to be starting off with 1440p at the ultra settings. Alright, let's jump into the settings real quick. 1440p VSync disabled and everything is set to its max value, which is the ultra preset. And there we are. The game does have DLSS 3.0 frame generation as well, which I'll be using since this game is very CPU intensive. I've done a 3080 recording already, but I couldn't finish it since the game was crashing so often and the quality which wasn't good. So I'm going to redo that video after I'm done with this. And so far we're getting 90 to 100 FPS, which might be surprising to you guys, but we are just getting CPU bottlenecked. So GPU is sitting at 50% usage, so I guess we could technically get 200 FPS if we weren't being CPU bound. But since we are just sitting at 90 FPS, unfortunately. This might be a good time to try out DLSS 3.0. That's the whole point of it. It can avoid the CPU bottleneck and just bypass it, which will be quite interesting to see how it looks and how it performs. FPS is sitting at 200 now. Do you guys see any weirdness going on with the quality? Because it looks quite good. GPU is sitting at 80% now instead of 50%, so we're definitely using up more of our GPU, which is always a good thing. And yeah, responsiveness feels amazing. There's no stuttering or lag that I can feel. Now the rims of the cars are flashing a little bit. That's what I've noticed so far. If you pay attention to the AI's rims, you can see them just flash here and there occasionally. It does look kind of weird. But it's so nitpicky that I don't even mind at this point. I think it's perfectly fine to play. Getting almost 200 FPS at 1440p with frame generation enabled. There's not really too much point in us playing at 1440p at this point. We can just go ahead and play at 4K and 8K. This card is really made for 4K gaming at ultra settings. But I'm trying at 1440p for you guys just so you can see how it runs. And yeah. Okay. Let's go and pause the game and push it up to 4K. Hopefully it doesn't crash. The 3080 crashes every time I switch to resolution. Disable frame generation. And please don't crash. And here we are at 4K. No DLSS obviously. Just trying to get a native 4K. And we're getting 105 FPS, which is beautiful. And we're still getting bottlenecked. It's kind of crazy how we're getting CPU bottlenecked with the 4090 at 4K at ultra settings as well. It's kind of insane. I think in a year or two I might have to upgrade the CPU in this computer as well, because the 4090 is just too powerful at this point that it's bottlenecking us at 4K max settings. But still, FPS is sitting in the 70s to 80s. It's kind of disappointing how poorly the CPU optimization is in this game. But that seems to be a trend in recent years. Alright, at this point we don't really need to use DLSS again. We're still over 100 FPS with ease. In fact, we bottleneck at 80 FPS still at times. So again, let's go and enable frame generation. And hopefully we can get 200 FPS still. Here we go. Look at that, 150 FPS. GPU is fully maxed out now. This game looks beautiful still. It looks amazing at 4K. Super sharp. No stuttering or no lagging that I felt. The game does crash though, so just keep that in mind. The game does crash a bunch, especially if you play around with the settings too much, which I'm kind of forced to do. But just make sure you go past the intro of the game before tweaking with the settings, because that's where I've seen most of my crashes happen. Now if you've got a weaker CPU and you're going to be running the game at 60 FPS, then I would probably avoid using frame generation. It might not look as good as what you see right here, because we are still over 100 FPS, and it's ideal for you to be above 100 FPS for frame generation. 60 FPS is still pretty decent, but you might see a couple more flaws, and anything below that will just look awful. Getting a bunch of shadow popping in, which is unfortunate. But overall, I'm quite happy with this, to be honest. It's running well and looking good as well. I wish this game wasn't as CPU intensive, but it is what it is, I guess. What can we do? Alright, let's go and push it up to 8K and see how we do at that. That will be surprising to see how this runs it. Alright, and here we are at 8K, getting 12 FPS. VRAM is sitting at 22 gigs. Oh, the game I think just crashed. Oh no, it's still going. Oh my god, it's so bad. Getting 10 FPS. Okay, 20 FPS. It's going up. Wow, 30 FPS now. It's slowly climbing up. Wow, this is actually playable. No way. Impressive, really. 30 FPS at 8K max settings. Whoa. The game is stuttering it quite a bit though, I gotta say. But other than that, wow, 40 FPS almost on the highway. Oh, the audio is even stuttering at this point. Kind of crazy. This game is well optimized on the GPU side of things, but it's very poorly optimized on the CPU side of things. It's just so intensive. Alright, now with DLSS at the quality, we're getting 30 to 40 FPS. Game's honestly running quite well. It feels very playable at this point. And the quality looks just as good as 8K native, which is kind of insane to say. That was a bit stuttery there, but other than that, quite good. The game is quite unstable at 8K, as you would imagine. It's crashed like 3 or 4 times already, so I don't think anyone's gonna be playing the game at 8K anyway, but just letting you guys know if you're gonna try it out. I think it might be time for us to try out the balance mode in DLSS. And there we go, using the balance preset, the game is frozen up again. There we go, it finally caught up, it feels like. There you go, now it's running smooth enough. Almost at 60 FPS. Very close to it. Sitting in the 50s. Drive around for a little bit for you guys, and then come up with the video here, and I gotta go back and record the 3080 video, unfortunately, but it is what it is at this point. One more step, let's go and push it up to the performance mode, and then I'll enable frame generation as well. Come on game, catch up, there you go. 60 FPS? So close to 60 FPS. There you go, 60 FPS finally. And even the performance DLSS, the game is looking just as good as native 8K, which is insane to say. This game looks beautiful. It looks amazing. I keep repeating myself, but wow, it looks really good. We're getting a bit of stuttering here still. VRAM usage has dropped down into 18 gigabytes from 23 at what, quality DLSS and or native 8K as well, I guess. Alright, now at this point we can go ahead and enable frame generation because we're at 60 FPS. It's good enough. And let's see what we can do there. 140 FPS please at 8K. Oh, hold on, it's gotta catch up real quick. Oh, it looks so bad. It looks atrocious at 30 FPS. It's flickering. I can see models appearing and reappearing. But we're losing FPS, it seems like, with frame generation. Maybe it's just bugged out, but at 8K it has not worked well at all. Just getting 60 FPS again. With a lot more flickering as well, so the game's looking worse. Alright, that's it for the video guys. If you made it this far, appreciate you. As always, if you want to see, then like and sub the channel as well. See you next time.